Good day, welcome back. You've been looking at this dirty old cutting mat that I use to paint my templates on. So it's not a pretty sight, but it is what it is. I will be just using a watercolor. Watercolor paint. As you can see, this is the area where I've been painting on, and that's the surface where I put them after painting and drying. And my cup holder, which is very black, blue, I mean. So I have cut this with 2 shades of blue. The one is lighter than the other, so it is light blue, but also 2 shades. Just for the effect, and it's an option, you do not have to do that, most definitely. And I will just use dark blue, as you can see, and I will just paint. I have not introduced, I just went in. Thank you for ordering this flower, by the way, and come join me making this thingy, showing you other ways to paint your templates. And then you'll be thinking like, why are you painting them again? Well, because when you try this out, you will see you will still have this light blue surface, you know, base of the template, but and then you color it, you will create this dimension, awesome one. So I'm using this brush, and actually I'm just, as you can see, I'm making this brush strokes and not making it even. So you do not have to be an artist for this. And you'll be like, oh, that's so ugly. Just wait and see until you're ready. Don't judge your work by just one template. Okay? Just wait until they are all coming together. As you can see, I'm just making these brush strokes uneven, so yours will definitely not look the same as mine, and mine will definitely look the same as yours. Not in a bad way, but it's just because, I mean, this is the 1, 2, 3. I mean 1, 2, 3. This is my 5th, and all 5 of them are different because, well, as you can see, I have no pattern. I'm just brushing them. I'm just coloring them with just brush strokes. And sometimes I use the flat edge, like that, and sometimes I use the thinner edge. So it really depends what you want. Now, for example, I'm using the flat one, and this will create this brush strokes, which you also see in flowers sometimes. This color thing. It's really dark, I know. I am so sorry. There's nothing that I can do. It's the weather. It's Mother Nature, and I do not have a studio lamp yet. So I have decided to show this part all the way to the end, just to show you how I work in a very nonchalant way. Just, you do not have to be an artist to do this. It is just making brush strokes and looking at one petal UV. A kid can do this, but just wait until they all come together, and that's what we're aiming for. You know, when it becomes a flower. And some flowers, you can see they have this, like I already said before earlier, they have this brush strokes kind of effect. And it's hard to achieve those with ink pads. You can use with those acrylic pens or any marker, thick marker. You can do that. But you can also use or art achieve with soft pastels. But you can with paint. And watercolor paint is easy to wash off, even if your fingers get dirty. But it's also very affordable. So if you wanna, try it once, it won't be too heavy on your pockets, because if you're from the Netherlands, I bought mine. This is from the Maison, even, and that's like cheap store. So, but it's just watercolor paint, You can experiment. It's fun. I like it. And like I said, very affordable. I will also show you that how much fun this template is, because of the many ways you can make it. Well, you can do what I do. You can paint them. You could also just, I believe there was 3 sheets. You could also use colored paper and then use 3 different kind of colors. For sheet 1, 2, 3. But you could also just dye the center. But you can also use only sheet 1 for a flower, or only use sheet 1 and 2 for a flower. You could also, there's a lot, right? Just sharing all this information that there is actually, eventually there is a limit that you can do. But I have not tried them all, but there's so much you can do. You could also just paint, for example, half blue and half leaded, and then you will have this bicolor flower, which is also pretty. Just like this. Et voila. Leave it like that. Which I'm gonna do. Why not? It's our creation. And if you have, like me, I am collecting a lot of pictures of flowers that I see, and or take pictures of them, especially in the summer, because then there's a lot of pictures out there. And then sometimes I see a beautiful flower in someone's garden, and then I just walk into the garden and hope someone is home and ask them if I can ask them for permission to take pictures of the flower they have in their garden. And you do have to ask for permission, because or else it would look very weird. And no one ever said no, because it is a compliment to them, that you like the flowers in the garden. And I yet have to experience someone that was mad at me for doing that. So, yeah, that's what I do. And then I take pictures of them. And for example, during August, there's a lot of sunflowers around here. Small ones, big ones, very small ones, and yeah. So that was the painting part. And now, and as you can see, I did save them, and it's very important to do that as well. in the same order as provided. And what's that exactly, Jamie? You ask. The same order is, I'm gonna face it towards you. It's exactly like this. How I place my templates is from left to right. First row, second row, if there is one. Left to right, third row, left to right. I always go from left to right, left to right, left to right, left to right. Okay, so and the last sheet, I believe there was like 4. So even there, I go from left to right, left to right. So I'm gonna, they're dry now. That's how fast it went. And if you look at them, you'll be like, oh my goodness, that's so messy. But just wait. You know, there are flowers that really look like it. Maybe not this specific one, but there are flowers that look just like they have been painted on. Someone, even those spatters. Someone has just been standing in the garden and getting the paint. Nature. Okay, now I will need a bamboo skewer for the, oh no. Oops, no, make me go on that stick. Embossing tool for the first 2 templates, and I've only colored one side because you won't see any of this. So shaping that, just with my embossing tool. I'm using the thin side. I have a big part and a small one and a big one here. I'm using a small one here, and all you do is just actually curl them. Give them this cup shape. Like a cupcake. Cupcake form, or whatever it's called. That's it. That's it, what you do with it too. Then you position them there, all the way there. You can't see it, but I will keep them in the same order. Now I'm gonna use my bamboo skewer first, and this is maybe a part that no one really likes, but you know, we have to shape a flower. We can't leave it flat. If you leave it flat, it just, I don't know. So when you are using cardstock, then I would suggest you to press hard. That is what you need to do. That's the trick actually, I think, with cardstock, is you have to press really, really hard. Put a lot of pressure for the paper to adjust, because I think cardstock are made for cards. And yes, you can make paper flowers too with those, but why make it ourselves so difficult when we can buy all this lightweight paper that is so much easier to work with? And not so rough on our fingers and hands. Now, this can be messy because of the paint, but remember, this is just watercolor paint. And should be no problem. Some more about this inspiration. This is the Margaret Moran flower. My last creation for 2019 was Dutch tulips, and because I just wanted to use From Holland with Love. That's the only reason I do that. So I'm like, why not let's start the new year with the country where I was born. It's where my roots are, but I did not grow up there. I came to the Netherlands when I was 8. And so it's a long time ago. But still, I go back to the Philippines a lot. Often. I try to go there like every other year. Because if you go there every year, then I won't see anything else of the world. We do not have a lot of family anymore because most of my families live around the world. So that's a bit sad. We still do have families living there, but that's the next generation, and we're not very close to them because we don't see them a lot. But so, anyways, back to why Maison was the second. So Philippines, and I was thinking, what is Philippines famous for besides beautiful beaches and nature and white sands, endangered species, wildlife, you know? And I was like, I remember someone telling the 3B, that's very popular in the Philippines. Basketball, boxing, and there's also billiard, by the way. So 4, and they all start with B's. And beauty pageants. And, well, it's hard to make a flower for boxing, basketball, or billiard. You know, it's the beauty in that. So I chose for beauty pageants and started looking. Philippines recently had Miss Universe recently had crowned Catriona Gray, Miss Universe 2018, and 2015 was Pia Wurtzbach. And Philippines is also the country of the decade. From always placed, they had like one top 20, that was 2019, 2 top 10s, that's 3, 2 Miss Universe, 1 first runner up, and all the others were in the top 5. So Philippines was the only country that was always placed in the top 20, and if not higher even, or they won. But enough about that. So there was a lot. Well, there's a lot of beauty queens. Miss, but I only want to honor the ones that actually won Miss Universe. Not that the others weren't deserving, but there was to be too much. So I wanted to call this bouquet Mabuhay first. And maybe I still will. I'm not sure. I'm leaning on Tara for, well, guess it, the goddess of the universe. So, or Mabuhay. So, I want to finish my story before I'm done doing this. We have Gloria Diaz, the first Miss Universe of the Philippines back in 1969, I believe. Then Margaret Moran did Flower 3 years later. And then we have Pia Wurtzbach, that one in 2015. That's like 42 years later. And Pia, so. And we already have a Catriona Gray, the Ranunculus, which I made like spring 2019. And she was crowned in December 2018. So So that's my story. Almost. And then I have, oh yeah. And then I was looking for star-shaped flowers, you know, because it is sun-shaped, because the star and the sun and star-shaped, they do appear in the Filipino flags, flag of the Philippines. And so, yes. And they are icons. They're very famous. So that was what I was aiming for. And then I actually was planning to do an orchid, because Philippines also has the largest amount of species or different sorts of orchids. We have like 180 different kinds of orchids. 180, that's a lot. But I will do that some other time. Or else it would be too much, you know, too much flower in one bouquet, and it's, you know. So, star-shaped or sun-shaped inspired flowers. And I did the fern, and that should be symbolizing the rays of the sun, which actually is pretty. And if you have bought this bouquet, then you will see Gloria Diaz is also very sun-shaped.